What if I told you that overnight the language you speak, the very words you use to think, to dream, to tell someone you love them, was suddenly illegal? That's the gut punch of a premise behind Alphonse Daudet's incredible short story, The Last Lesson. Now, it's set during a war, yeah, but the biggest battle here, it's not on a field with guns. It's fought for the very soul of a culture, and it all happens inside one small classroom.
And we get to see all of this go down through the eyes of a young boy. His name is Franz. Now, Franz, he's a bit of a slacker. He's way more interested in playing outside than he is in his grammar lesson. He has absolutely no clue that this one single day at school is about to change his entire life. And that's really where the story gets its power, right? We're seeing this massive historical moment through the eyes of a kid who, at first, couldn't care less.
All right, so let's follow Franz as his day kicks off. For him, there's no big sense of doom or anything. Nope. It just starts with a feeling I think we can all relate to. The temptation to just skip school. I mean, you can't blame him. The day is beautiful. It's warm, it's bright, the birds are chirping. But there's something else in the air. You can hear the Prussian soldiers drilling in the distance, a constant, low-level reminder that they're under occupation. But for Franz, the biggest threat in his world isn't some army. No way. It's his teacher, Monsieur Hamel, and a pop quiz on participles that he is so not ready for.
So as he's rushing to school, probably already late, he passes the town hall and sees a crowd gathered around the bulletin board. Now you gotta remember, this is before Twitter, before 24-hour news. This was how you got information. And for the last 2 years, all that board has posted is bad news. Lost battles, new orders from the occupiers, you get the picture. He sees the people there and thinks, oh no, what now? But he's in too much of a hurry to stop. The tension is just ratcheting up.
And that bulletin board is so important because of where this is all taking place. The story is set in a region called Alsace-Lorraine. It was part of France, but after the Franco-Prussian War, it was handed over to Prussia, which would soon become part of Germany. So you see, this isn't just a story about a kid trying to avoid a test. It's about a whole community, an entire culture, that's on the brink of being erased.
Okay, so when Franz finally gets to the schoolhouse, that weird feeling, it gets even stronger. Usually, the school is just buzzing with noise, the great bustle of desks opening and closing, kids shouting lessons, but today, it's dead silent. He says it's as quiet as a Sunday morning, and that quiet is just creepy. It's not right, and you can feel his anxiety starting to spike.
So let's go inside the classroom with him. The mystery is about to get even deeper, right before the truth comes crashing down with one single devastating announcement.
And inside, things are even weirder. First off, his teacher, Monsieur Hamel, is wearing his Sunday best, this special green coat and frilled shirt he only wore for inspection days or prize ceremonies. And then, Franz looks at the back of the room. The benches that are usually empty, they're filled with the village elders. The old mayor's there, the postmaster, all of them, just sitting there silently, looking incredibly serious and sad. What is going on?
And then Monsieur Hamel gets up, and in this very calm, very serious voice, he says the words that make everything. The crowd at the bulletin board, the strange quiet, the elders in the back of the room suddenly make perfect, awful sense. He says, "My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. An order has come from Berlin. From now on, only German is to be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine." Wow. Franz describes those words as a thunderclap, and you can feel it, can't you? In that one instant, it all clicks. The bulletin board, the silence, his teacher's fancy clothes, the elders, it all comes together in this one terrible, heartbreaking realization. He finally gets. In that shock, that thunderclap of understanding, it immediately turns into something else. Just this huge, crushing wave of regret. And it's not just Franz feeling it. You can tell it's a sorrow that's shared by every single person in that classroom.
This is where we see this incredible shift in perspective. I mean, think about it. Literally minutes ago, his grammar book was a nuisance, something heavy he didn't want to carry. Now that he's about to lose it forever, it's an old friend. His teacher, who he thought was so cranky, suddenly Franz feels nothing but sympathy for him. Everything he completely took for granted is suddenly the most precious thing in the entire world.
So Mr. Hamel starts to speak, and what's amazing is that he's not angry. He's just sad. And he puts his finger on the real tragedy of it all. He says the big problem with Alsace is that she puts off learning till tomorrow. He's saying it wasn't the enemy that kept them from valuing their own language. It was themselves. They just always figured, we'll get to it tomorrow. They always thought they had more time.
And he makes it really clear that this isn't just about the kids like Franz.
He says everyone shares the blame. The parents, who'd rather have their kids earning a little money on the farm than learning in school. And he even blames himself. He admits he would sometimes send the kids out to water his garden or just give them the day off so he could go fishing. Everyone, the whole community, put off what was important until a tomorrow that, as it turns out, was never going to come. But right in the middle of all this regret and sadness, Monsieur Hamel gives them something. He offers them hope, a tool for survival, a form of resistance. He offers them a key.
And this is the absolute core of the story. It's the most famous line, and for good reason. He says that when people are enslaved, as long as they hold on to their language, it's like they have the key to their prison. It's such a powerful idea, right? Your language isn't just words, it's your identity, it's your history. It connects you to everyone who came before you. And if you can hold on to that, you're holding on to a piece of yourself that no one can ever truly conquer.
So, language itself becomes an act of resistance. It's this invisible force that keeps a community together, that preserves their culture when everything else is being stripped away. It's a kind of freedom in your mind that an occupying army can't touch. It's a way of quietly, but powerfully, saying, we are still here.
And here's the beautiful, kind of tragic irony of it all. On this very last lesson, Franz, the kid who was terrified of his grammar lesson, he suddenly understands everything. Perfectly. It's not like Monsieur Hamel is a better teacher all of a sudden. It's that Franz is finally truly listening. He's hanging on every single word, desperate to soak it all in. It just goes to show you, the real secret to learning isn't just a good teacher. It's wanting to learn. It's paying attention.
The rest of the lesson goes on with this incredible, painful focus. Every single moment feels heavy with meaning as the clock ticks closer and closer to the inevitable end.
And then, the church clock strikes 12. Noon. The lesson is over. And at that exact same instant, you hear the trumpets of the Prussian soldiers from the street below. The sound of the new order, the new power, literally interrupts and ends the old way of life. Time's up.
Monsieur Hamel stands up. He's pale, and you can see he's just choked with emotion. He opens his mouth to say something, but no words come out. So instead, he grabs a piece of chalk, turns to the blackboard, and with all his might, he writes 2 words, Vive la France, long live France. It's his last lesson. A final, silent, but unbelievably powerful message of defiance, patriotism, and love.
So why does this story, written way back in the 1870s, still hit so hard today? Well, it's because the message is just completely timeless. Because when you boil it down, this isn't really just a story about a French lesson, is it? It's about loss. It's about regret. It's about how we take the most important things in our lives for granted. It's a story that forces you to look around at your own life, at your own culture, your family, your freedom, and really see them, maybe for the first time. It's that classic universal truth. You really don't know what you've got till it's gone.
And that really leaves us with one final big question to think about. For the people in that classroom, their language was their key. It was their identity. So it makes you ask yourself, what's the language in your life that you can't afford to lose? What's that one thing, that skill, that tradition, that relationship that is so core to who you are? What's the one thing you need to stop putting off till tomorrow?